Fear is an illusion. Evil feeds off fear. As long as I feel happy, self confident, evil hates it and will try its best to plant fear. However, as long as I am aware of my surroundings and respect everybody independently, apprehend negative situations correctly, there's nothing evil can do. You know, I I I I feel that fear could be fear of anything. I was saying it the other day that fear, there's some people that they fear the street. They fear the street. They fear living on the street. You know, and they have this certain amount of options. You know, that are in front of them. And they give in. They give in to, how would you say it, to corruption, to being bribed. You know, to being bribed. They give in. You know, I've, you know, I have had numerous situations been thrown at me. You know, when I was living on the street, there is these homosexuals, older females that would be like, "We want to help you. We want to help you. Let's come to my house. Come to my house. I'll help you. You don't have to live on the street." And I was like, "What? There's no way that you're going to help me. There's no way I'm going to let you, supposedly help me. I don't need that type of experience. I don't need that type of experience in my life, and so what I'm saying is that there's this fear. There's this fear that gets created, you know. If you're stuck in a situation and you're going to live on the street, you know, there's this fear that people have of living on the street, that they're willing, to become sexual slaves, to people, regardless of what they're saying, regardless of the money that gets swamped by hands, regardless of all this, they're sex slaves, and they give in to the corruption because of comfort, because they would rather have an apartment than live on the street for a certain amount of years, because they're scared. You know what I'm saying? That they give in to bribery, and so me myself, I don't have that problem, but I do understand that there is fear, and fear finds its way in. If you feel self confident, if you feel this and if you feel that, and if you feel better, proud of yourself, that's when fear is going to try to attack you in any way, whether it's by threatening you physically, whether it's by an aggressive individual, appearing in your neighborhood and, fluffing his feathers and, saying this and saying that. you know every situation can be apprehended correctly, is what I'm trying to say. That you can apprehend every negative situation correctly, and that this fear, this fear will diminish. It will diminish, and that if you do this, that there's nothing fear can do, evil can do. There's nothing evil can do to you, if you apprehend a negative situation correctly. Now, if you react negatively to a negative situation, guess what? Evil has opportunity. Evil has opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to apprehend a negative situation correctly, to respect everybody independently, to be aware of your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Once you dominate this way of being, you know, once you dominate aggression, you know, you're gonna feel that much better. You're gonna feel that much better because you're able, you know, because an aggressive individual that's prepped to agitate, that's prepped to provoke, that's prepped to do this and that, you know, if you're prepared for this aggressive individual, guess what the aggressive individual is gonna do? He's gonna retreat. He's gonna retreat. That's what he's gonna do. And when it happens, you know, it feels awesome. It feels awesome, you know, to be able to make somebody that's violent, aggressive, you know, retreat. Retreat. You know, there is a time where I used to say to people when they would like respond to me aggressively, you know, when they would give me an aggressive comment or say something, uh, speak in foul language, you know, I would say, "Excuse me, how can I help you? How can I help you? Excuse me, can I help you in something?" And I would speak, you know, like, you know, a little bit hard, a little bit, not too much sarcastic, you know. I would be like, "Excuse me, can I help you with something?" And they would like, they would like drop their little skit of aggressiveness, and they'll be like, "Oh no," they'll act like different, and it was very funny to me, you know. And this is the same thing with with aggressive situations, with aggressive individuals. You know, there's a way to deviate, to make them retreat,